Impasto is a technique where you layer and mix thick paints, usually with spatulas, creating texture. I experimented 3 ways to approach this with makeup, and the last is the most effective. First, I used creams as is and mixed it with a spatula from the dollar store. These are cheap, thin, which makes them flexible to work with on something as delicate as our skin. I scraped the cream, applied it to the cheeks, going back and forth with different spatula sizes and angles. Get some liquid shadow from the wand to spatula and applied it over on top of the creams. Liquid shadow doesn't really add those elevated textured layers, but I wanted to experiment how it would turn out. Next, I tried this mixing balm as a medium with some shadow I scraped from a palette. A medium can be an additive to thicken, add flow, or a number of textures to a product. An example to clarify is something like adding cornstarch or flour to thicken a sauce that you're cooking, where the flour or cornstarch is the medium. You can mix everything on a plate, plastic sheet, on glass, or a palette like this one I'm using, but make sure it's flat. Impasto also has a slower drying time, so you can really scrape what's on your face and move it around. It doesn't hurt, but double check that the spatulas have smoothed out edges and test it on your hand first. I went a little overboard with the paints and placements, but I hope you're getting the idea. Third, the most effective, best way for impasto to give that layered, thick paint effect is taking any cream or liquid shadow and adding any translucent powder and mixing it. This turns the cream into something that's more matte, more dry, closer to what you see impasto as on canvas. It's more moldable, just like impasto, and you have the most control with this, whereas the others, if you press too hard or if there's too much heat, it may melt too flat. There are endless ways to use impasto, and I really hope this isn't the only video I make on it because it's fun, abstract, you can create and mold shapes, layer. It's one of my favorite art techniques. I was also nervous making this video since getting back into it and finding an artistic voice again. Hope I got the points across and that you learned something fun that you can create with. I decided instead of not posting and being fearful, I wanted to show more of the process. I used to be disappointed when vision didn't result in perfect executions, and that shit happens often, but I've never been perfect, and it's about time I stopped searching for something that actually hinders the progressive and unique. Gots to normalize that. And I hope that this shows the beauty in progress and trying instead of what we were conditioned to believe what beauty was.